I kind of want to begin going back, taking a trip down to memory lane and kind of understanding how did Bogues come to where he is right now. So yeah, tell us how you began in the music, how how you began being influenced, maybe within electronic music, or maybe if you began in a different genre. Kind of tell us how you began making music.
So I definitely began in a different genre. So yeah, it goes way back to when I was like 13 or 14. Um, I was in middle school and I took a music production class, and they use Logic. We started out with GarageBand, but then we moved up to Logic. But at first, I was so confused and lost, and I was 14, and it was just like an elective course. It was just for fun. I was like, I just need an elective, so I'm going to take this class, see what happens. And I ended up falling in love with it after a few weeks. I had a Apple computer at home, which they all have GarageBand. So in my free time, I just started messing around with GarageBand, throwing
Yeah.
in loops. And at the time, I loved like hip hop music, and so I was really influenced by like Fort Minor and like some other hip hop groups and stuff like that. So I just started messing around in GarageBand and making, hip hop beats when I was 14. And then when I was like 15, I think my parents got me Logic for Christmas one year. And ever since then, I've just been making beats. But really, in high school, it was all about just hip hop, and I was like selling
Nice.
beats to people.
So yeah,
I
so
had
you
like a
began
YouTube
as
page,
like a
all
hip
that.
hop producer, right?
Yeah, I was selling hip hop beats, selling online, selling them to friends. I had a lot of like rappers in my high school, and they would always come over my house after school, and it was awesome. I had a little mini studio in my room. I had a little
Uh huh.
mic set up, and I would charge for studio time. And
Nice. So
my parents are like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are there people over here every day after school?" And I'm just like, I gotta make that bread, mom. I was like 16 selling beats. It was dope. It was awesome. I had
you
no
use
idea I was gonna pivot to EDM.
exactly. You use like BeatStars and programs like that, or were those not in the game yet?
No, I don't think it was BeatStar. I forgot the name of the marketplace. There's a beat selling marketplace.
Uh huh.
I
Works similar, I
forgot.
guess.
It was very similar, yeah, and it worked out. And I sold some beats on there, but really I sold a lot of beats to my friends and a lot of
Yeah.
studio time to my friends. Like that was my bread and butter. But yeah,
So that's how
that's what
you
I
kind
did.
of like got introduced to engineering and audio engineering and music production mixing and mastering and all of that through hip hop, right?
Yep, I love audio. I love mixing vocals. Like that's so
Yeah,
fun for me. I love doing all that.
I
Just
100% agree. I like
taking
vocals
someone's
are
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
knowing how to take someone's voice, especially people who like don't even realize how amazing you can make your vocals sound through editing. Like people are
exactly.
like, "Oh, I'm not a good singer." I'm like, "Try it. Like try
Yeah,
it. Just get in front of a mic, and I guarantee you, I can edit the shit out of your vocals and make them sound awesome."
yeah.
Yeah,
And you've always done vocal recording in Logic as well, because I know a lot of people use Pro Tools or maybe use other programs for vocal recording and stuff.
always use Logic. I've never
Yeah.
used anything else.
That's interesting. All right, so let's see. So you were into this hip hop. You're kind of building your beat empire within
Yeah.
hip hop. So how did you move to EDM or house?
So, I moved to EDM. Well, okay, let's take a step back. So when I went to like college-ish time, that's when I started. I kind of took a break from making music a little bit because I was focused on school and my social life and everything. And then I came back to making some EDM when I was like, I don't know, like 2021. But I wasn't making house music. I was making future bass, and I was really influenced by Flume.
Mm.
I love Flume, and just
Oh
listening to
yeah.
his stuff when I was like 2021, that was like just life changing to me. I was like, I gotta
Mm.
make stuff like this. It's so unique. The sound design is insane. So
Exactly.
I was making slower, like future bass, just really
Mm.
experimental stuff,
And I feel
and
like
that was
feature
fun.
within EDM, feature bass kind of has those hip hop influences with like
Yep.
halftime beats and those like yeah more like not four to the floor kicks. Those more hip hop style drums. So it's kind of like you went through from hip hop to house. You went through that feature bass. It was kind of like a good transition process, right?
Yeah, I didn't even like house music back then. I thought it was boring. I was like, bum, bum, bum. Like, what the hell is this? Like, I wanted some cool, crazy,
Yeah.
rhythmic, syncopated, funky rhythms. And
Exactly.
that's when I listen to Flume. It gives you that really
Oh yeah.
offbeat timing, just so nuanced and unique on all his sound design and everything. Just epic stuff. So I did that for a while. But then I did switch over to making house music after I went to my first festival. This was EDC Orlando in 2018. And that's when I saw
Nice.
Don Diablo play for the first time. And I've already been a fan of Don Diablo for a few months before that. And then I saw him play live, dude, and he was just playing all those future house tracks. And I was just thinking from then on, I was like, no, I'm making future house. I'm making house music from now on. And I saw
Nice.
Martin Garrix that night too. He closed out the set.
Wow.
Epic. But after that festival, it's different when you're at a festival and that 4 on the floor beat's hitting, and it's just
You
like
really feel
you're just
it, yeah.
grooving and you're feeling it. And after that, I was just hooked.
I have to say, I've also had the privilege to have seen both of them, Don Diablo and Martin Garrix, a
Mhm.
few times, both of them. I'm from Barcelona, and they have like a really big festival there, and yeah, super cool experience. I feel like Don Diablo is really good live, and he also has really cool lighting, and his song he has like a really, like, I feel like his sets have a really cool journey to them. I also like felt really inspired. Like I would go to those festivals and come back. I'm like, I gotta make music now. Like I'm super inspired.
Yep, I know, dude. And you know, people say like, "Oh, I don't want to go out partying, or I don't want to go do this and that. I want to spend time making music." For me, I need to go out and spend time doing stuff
Exactly.
and going to freaking festivals and going to concerts, going to shows, because that gives me inspiration.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
dude,
always like when I go to a
I want
club.
to be on stage.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah, but I always like when I'm in a club, and I'm sure you're the same. You're always listening to like what the DJ is doing, or like that transition, or that like
Yeah.
drop, or
Yeah.
that specific effect. Your music production ear, even though you're having fun, you're chilling with your friends. That like analysis is always going on in your brain, right?
Always doesn't stop.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So let's say you get into you go to the festival, you want to get into house music, and then what happens from there?
So yeah, so I started making house music pretty much the beginning of 2019. That's when I started kind of releasing my own songs. I released my first song. I don't even know the name of it. I got rid of it on Spotify, but it was like right at the beginning of 2019, like January, February. So I've been making house music for over 2 years now, a little bit, and essentially, yeah, it was just self-release. I just used DistroKid.
Yeah.
And
Under the same artist name, or did you have like a different
yeah,
name?
no, Boges. I started
Boges.
that Boges project right then and there 2 years ago.
And how did you come up with the name?
Oh, so that goes way back too. I don't even know. My friend Kevin, my best friend Kevin, we used to just go out all the time. And when I was 21, he just started calling me my real name is Shoon,
Yeah.
Shoon, but he started calling me Shoony Boges, and I have no idea why. Also, so Boges means cigarette. It's like just a term for cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes. Some of my friends do. And I don't know why they started calling me Boges. I'm like, I don't even smoke, dude. And they're just like, we're going to call you Boges. And I'm like, it's a pretty dope name.
It is cool. It's short and it's easy to pronounce. Yeah, it's a cool.
Yeah,
name.
well,
So
you
you
know
wanna-
what? It's easy to pronounce for you, but I tell you, there's a lot of people, especially out in like Europe, they botch my name. They always say Bogus. I'm like,
Bogus.
dude, Bogus?
That's
My
true.
name's not
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the
Well,
E in the end. Yeah. Or
Oh,
Boges,
yeah.
no? Yeah.
Yeah, they say Bogus or Bogus. It's funny, every time I know I'm going to get played on a radio show and the DJ's going to call out my name, I like email them ahead of time with a little voice memo saying it's pronounced Boges. And they still get it wrong. Dude, laid back Luke, right? He says Boges, and every one of his radio shows, he calls my name out. He's like, a new track from Boges. I'm like, you know what? If laid back Luke is going to call me Boges, then I'll adopt that. That's okay.
So fun fact.
That's my name, I guess.
Fun fact. Kygo. His name is actually pronounced Kigo. You guys.
Kigo?
The guys from Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. Right. The guys from Sweden.
Kigo.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
he was.
Kygo sounds way better though.
I was
I'm not gonna lie.
I was listening to one of his interviews, and this was a while back, and he was like, yeah, like his I don't know, Kygo is like a short version of his name, but he says like the actual his name, like the way he thought would be pronounced would be Kigo, but then when he moved to the US, everyone was like Kygo, and now he's like, okay, it's Kygo.
Yeah, dude. So you know what? Sometimes the best names aren't. You can't pick your own name.
Yeah, they're kind of
Everyone else has to pick the name for you. Yeah.
Nice. Yes. Okay. So 2019, right? You begin your first releases under Boges on Spotify. And how did that go? How did the beginning of releasing house music go? Because it can be hard.
Yeah, it was hard, but it was fun. I mean, when you just start out, I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm gonna blow up from this one song, my first release ever. I knew I was gonna have to have a kind of back catalog of songs on Spotify before I started building something. So I just started making music and releasing it on DistroKid. I would make a song and then put it on DistroKid and set the release date like 2 weeks after I was done with the song, which is so fast because obviously with labels and stuff, it takes months.
Yeah, no.
But when you're doing it yourself, I'm just like, oh, okay, 2 weeks and then it'll be out in DistroKid.
Exactly.
Sweet. So I did that for a handful of songs. And I think my most successful song during that time frame when I was releasing those songs is To the Moon, which it's still a bop to this day. I love it. I'm really proud of that song. And